Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Ekamak. This is Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail. In the last episode we got through the healer role quest, which, let's be fair, wasn't that good. I think we set our expectations too high due to the tank and the melee DPS classes, so hopefully this one can at least be somewhat interesting. Anyway, Rahul Jar. To steal a Steelhog. Rahul Jar's eyes are full of expectation, or is it dust? Greetings. So, you've decided to aid my people in retrieving our treasure, yes? They will be glad to know my long and arduous journey from our homeland in the distant south of Dawntrail was not in vain. As for the treasure we would have you recover, it contains the undying essence of an armadillo Tural Vidral. These Steelhogs, as we call them, rely on their tough hides to protect themselves from predators. The legends speak of one that lived to an extraordinary age, perhaps due to its natural suit of armor, and came to be known as the Lord of the Forest. At the end of its long life, our ancestors enshrined the Vidral's soul within the Steelhog vessel. For generations since, the divine blessings it bestows have been a great boon to my people. Those under its protection need not fear wild beasts, for Fang and Claw cannot harm them. This allows us to hunt in the forest without risking our lives. This treasure, so crucial to our people, was stolen by a tall, slender merchant, or rather, a man posing as one. He came wearing exotic wares from foreign lands and served alcohol freely, toasting often to new friendships. My people became caught up in the celebration, and in the morning the merchant was gone, along with the Steelhog vessel. Without it, we cannot bestow its blessings afresh upon our hunters. The effect wanes over time. One by one we are losing our protection against the savage predators that stalk our lands. As I and my grandfather Steelhog still possess the treasure's blessing, we have been tasked with locating the Steelhog vessel and returning it to the village. The trail led us here to Tuliolo, where we believe the perpetrator boarded a ship and made good his escape. The journey here has already pushed this decrepit body of mine beyond its natural limits, and a lengthy voyage by sea would likely be my end. Although I urged Steelhog not to make the crossing alone, she was determined to give the chase. Given you hail from across the ocean, your knowledge of those lands will prove invaluable to her. Not only that, but our quarry may use the Steelhog vessel to his own ends. Only a skilled warrior can stand against such a foe, and Steelhog is no warrior. Hang on, what was he saying? Oh, his granddaughter. I've read that as grandfather. You'll have your treasure in 2 shakes of an armadillo's tail. I'm truly grateful! My granddaughter's first port of call is a place called Alamigo. You see, as the thief took all of his wares with him, the only clue left behind was an empty bottle of whatever grog he was serving. After asking the sailors here, it seems it was produced in Alamigo, and with no other leads, Steelhog set forth. Once you arrive, she should not be difficult to find. These days, only a handful of Mamool attempt the journey, most of them British mercenaries. Steelhog is a far daintier creature and is sure to have made a favourable impression with the locals. May the Steelhog watch over you. As Steelhog has travelled to Alamigo, perhaps you should begin your search by asking around at Ralga's Reach. Those shoes just don't look right to me. Do I have any glamour crystals on hand? Actually, do I have a glamour removal? Yeah, I have plenty. That's better. Gather information at Ralga's Reach. Actually, Let's do a run of Dark Knight just to get some extra. So I really did want to buy a whole bunch of nice equipment for myself so I don't go in feeling understated. We can keep investigating. Yeah, I met the Mamool jar girl you're after. She was looking for a tall, thin man, some sort of thief apparently. Sounded like a bit of like the leader of a gang of bandits that lurks around Vidralja. Told her as much. Chances are that's where she headed. I hope she stays out of trouble. Well, she already got an answer. A Mamool jar, you say? As it happens, she came over while I was cleaning the cannons. She showed me an empty arak bottle and said she was looking for the bloke it had belonged to. The thing is, the brand's found all over Alamigo, so I wasn't able to help narrow down her search. Hopefully this goes better than the trial that I did earlier, where we failed the DPS check against Hydaelyn. Oh, it's just Titan. Oh, I see. You've eaten food recently, so your stats are still up. Sons of men! Murderers of my children! I shall grind thee beneath my heel, mortal! This might have been the very first case of proximity damage, and it didn't have a telegraph, go figure. At least people can be revived after Ring Out. You couldn't do that in the original version of Titan. Kind of funny that we call this the Shiva pattern, when Titan was also the first to introduce this one. Yeah, that's definitely a Soul Eater, isn't it? He broke his heart with it. You definitely feel naked without your ability to support the main tank. Someone shouldn't be standing in front of the tank buster. Alright, so you didn't miss much. We're teaming up with the Mamool as a machinist and sent to Alamigo. Apparently there's a group of bandits that look a bit like the thief, and the Tiral Vidral is an armadillo. Yes, I saw a Mamool on my patrols, but he carried an enormous axe. Not at all like the person you describe. That's unusual, to say the least. Okay, we've got to go search for Steelhog. I still want to do a few... Actually, I could do that as machinist, couldn't I? Give me some practice for the actual instance. Unfortunately, I'm not very good at machinist because it relies on a lot of off-global cooldowns during a burst window, and that's just not something I can do well with my internet. But it's also really satisfying. Actually, wait. Excavator. Full metal field. Barrel stabilizer, full metal field. Gotcha. I just focused on getting my machinist leveled to 100. I didn't actually learn how to play it at 100. Time of judgment is nigh. Just not getting a chance to do my full combos, unfortunately. So weird to not be the tank. No, you idiot! Oh man, his debuff keeps ticking even when I'm not on the main. Oh, I wasn't able to really exploit the overheaters there. We actually get to see Alexander again in the latest Alliance raid. These mechanics are quite crazy. My faithful, to the past with you, to free the ones from something something. To free these ones from the prison of time. Ignorant and unworthy. What freeze time field is deactivated? No matter uplanders will be reduced to smolder dust fire! So basically we saved ourselves in the past to create a temporal paradox. Quite generous of him, really. Punishing heat. Commencing space-time interference! You know, just add a giant titan. Why not? Okay, I promise that's the end of my roulettes. We're going to focus purely on the story now. Reassemble is just such a satisfying machinist skill. Guarantee the next weapon skill is a critical direct hit. Increased damage dealt under an effect that raises crit or direct hit rate. Does not affect damage over time effects. You just reassemble your drill or reassemble your chainsaw. Here, let me apply some of this ointment. It's a common remedy where I come from. Oh, are you here to lend a hand? This poor soul was attacked by highwaymen. I could use help attending to his wounds. Don't worry about me, it's my escort who's in trouble. He's in pursuit of the thieves. I fear he's bitten off more than he can chew. Please, will you aid him? It's okay, I have a gun. You thieving bastards! Well, we found the person who has the Steelhog talisman. What? But how? Behold! Ah! Nothing like a bit of divine intervention to tip the scales in my favor. With this artifact in my hands, I am invincible! Another one, eh? Not that it matters. Kakuja, it's time you earned your coin. So the Tiral Vidral buff this time is that it makes them invincible. Rather simple, really. I appreciate the assistance, but he wasn't joking about divine intervention. Some strange force pushed me away. I can't even get near them. See, I feel like this is something we'd want to be magic DPS for, but eh. Steelhog vessel! Return it at once! And the stolen goods? A friend of yours? Oh, you followed me all the way here from your backwater village? Alas, your journey has been for naught. The vessel is mine! I, sure to fight, will make better use of the artifact than you and your ilk ever could. By the might bestowed upon me, I will become savior to the oppressed and the destitute. In light of my grand ambitions, the vessel's power would be wasted on the likes of you, if you cannot hunt without it. Might I suggest a change of diet? I hear the acorns are delicious at this time of year. Damn it all, I was so close. But now is not the time for regrets. These two are in need of a healer. I'll see them safely to Ralga's reach. Would you mind meeting us there? Once their injuries have been treated, we'd better tell the resistance soldiers what happened. I really shouldn't be giving her the old lady voice because it is established that she's pretty young. Not a fighter, but she is young. Ralga's reach. I did have a thought a while back while I was streaming just now, and I'm not sure how well I want to invest in it, but what if I started streaming my Disgaea grinding? Or maybe streaming Disgaea 2, because I only know the ending of Disgaea 2, I don't know all the lead up to get to there. It might be interesting, and it might give me a way to pad out my stream time, but I don't know, I'd be alone doing it. Well, I'm glad we made it to safety without any more trouble. Those bandits wouldn't dare step foot in this place. Oh, how rude of me! I never asked your name, or how you chanced to cross us, for that matter. My name is Ravenna. I was sent here to help. You came all the way from Tuliolo at my grandfather's behest? I can't tell you how grateful I am. As for the highwaymen, they possess the Steelhog vessel, a treasure from my village. Not only does it grant protection from harm, it also produces a potent blast when the barrier is dispelled. As long as our enemies have the vessel, attacks at close quarters will be extremely risky. Although as we say in my village, cracks form in even the mightiest of shields. Knowing this, we are careful not to rely too heavily on its power. But now that the Steelhog vessel has been stolen, this self-same power is being turned against innocent people such as yourselves. I only hope you can forgive me for allowing this to happen. There's nothing to forgive. If anything, we should thank you for coming to our aid. That short of height and his lackeys have a lot to answer for. Indeed, we'll give the resistance our testimonies, and with any luck, the information will go some way to clapping those bandits in irons. I'll go with you. The soldiers here need to be warned about the vessel. No, leave that to us. We'll relay what you've told us word for word. After all, you need to move quickly to have any chance of getting your artifact back. When you catch those robbers, give them one from me. That's why they need a range DPS, because we can destroy the shield without being in the blast range. How about you, Ray? I hope I can count on you to be there for whatever else comes next. Ah, I knew it! I sense you're eager to get started, but I need time to plan our next move. Bandits aren't known for being found easily. I was surprised to see a fellow Mamool Jar among them. I can't imagine why that Kakul Jar would work for Shortle Fight of all people. I actually need to look at something. Role quests. Okay. Though hers is not the easiest face to read, Steelhog's expression suggests that she has vital information to share. Ray, I heard something that might help us. One of the soldiers has been contending with the same bandits who stole the vessel. I'll go find him. Give me a moment, would you? Sorry to keep you waiting. When she told me she'd been sent an assistant, I never would have guessed it to be the savior of Alamigo herself. You're something of a local celebrity, I take it. I'd love to hear more about that, but for now, let's concentrate on the matter at hand. Yes, quite. The bandits you've been chasing are behind a spate of recent incidents at Alamigo. What's more, it appears that Shortle Fight is part of a larger network known as the Passage of the Unbound, which is spreading its mayhem far and wide. In particular, they've been carrying out raids on trade caravans heading here from Gridania, with increased patrols along that route, but the bastards strike so quickly they've usually made good their escape by the time aid arrives. On the rare occasions we've caught them in the act, they use some kind of device or magic object to deflect our arrows and send us sprawling. That's the Steelhog vessel! It was stolen from my village, you see. I'm sorry for all the trouble it's caused. The one who talked at Shortle Fight said something about using its power to help the oppressed and destitute. What do you think he meant by that? That sounds familiar. The reports say the thieves were shouting something along those lines during the other raids. They claim the merchants are overworking and underpaying their laborers, and therefore deserve to be targeted. I don't see how stealing a bunch of goods helps the workers, and there's not a shred of evidence anyone is being exploited. If you ask me, they're just in it for the money. In any case, their reasons won't matter a jot once they're behind bars. But for that, we'll have to catch them first. The most recent incident occurred near Porta Praetoria, one of the waypoints on the road to the palace. If you want to know more, you'd best hear it straight from the commander there. Anyway, I'll send word ahead to let her know you're coming, assuming you are, that is? Yes, of course, much appreciated. This sounds like a promising lead. The soldiers here were good enough to explain the lie of the land around here, so I shouldn't have any trouble making the journey by myself. I'll see you there. Porta Praetoria is... Oh, it's all the way over there, huh? Back to the Salt Lakes. I have to wonder what new race they're going to introduce in Evercold. because there's always been a new race. It's just that they slowed down a lot when they introduced the ones in Shadowbringers, because then they just gave us the male bunnies, and then this one they gave us the female lions. Anyhow, good, you're both here. My colleague at the Reach told me everything. I can confirm we've had several sightings of Shortlefight and his gang in recent days. They've even taken to ambushing our patrols. Whereas most brigands would flee from armed and armored soldiers, this lot seems to take pleasure in goading us into attacking. The treasure they carry makes them invulnerable. It can also emit a devastating blast, but that's only effective at short range. Shortlefight wants to draw your soldiers into close quarters because there they stand no chance. Well, that explains their uncommon boldness. Thank you, this information will go far in helping us contend with the bandits. Sorry to interrupt. Oh, Elizan. Who might you be? Oh, simple peddlers, my good lady. I myself am of Gridanian stock, and after learning my craft in the markets of Uldar, I now deliver all manners of finery to eager patrons throughout Eorzea. Yes, you're definitely not the person we've been hunting. But enough about all that. I hope you'll forgive me, but I couldn't help you overhearing you mention a gang of highwaymen. We've heard similar tales from other traders passing through. It seems some stretches of road are more dangerous than others. In fact, the bandits are most seen at a specific location not far from here. If you like, we can take you there ourselves. Please, by all means. Wait, Ray can take care of herself, but I can't allow any more civilians than necessary into an area I believe to be teeming with bandits. It seems I've no choice but to ask you to go without me. Sorry, but if those highwaymen did turn up, I wouldn't be much good in a fight. Well, you head off to investigate. I'll see if there's any more information to be had here. Then it's settled. I shall leave our newfound friend in your capable hands. Well, if you say so. I suppose we should be on our way then. If we do run into those highwaymen, you'll protect us, right? One's headed your way now. You know what to do? What? Unacceptable! Either you do this without my help, or I find someone who can. Show some backbone for once. Like, he didn't even finish speaking. He didn't even properly get to start speaking to me before I already figured out that it was him. And clearly Ray was also pretty... Ray was also pretty suspicious because she crossed her arms. Timid trader, faint-hearted trader. Did you hear that? Those balls, it must be my imagination. Let's not dally here too long, eh? Almost there. It's just on the other side of this gully. Actually, if it's all the same to you, we'll wait here while you go on ahead. This is already more than close enough for my liking. We'll keep watch here. If we see anything suspicious, we'll be sure to scream. Craven follow-up. Never stood a chance! Please stop! I've no more bones to break. You beat them? All of them? How very fortunate. Then I'd best contact the boss. I'm sure he'll want to know all about this. No doubt he's still talking to your friend and the commander. They'll be glad to hear you've come to no harm. You'll never guess what, boss. She trounced a lot of them. Yeah, understood. I'm not sure why, but he said they'll be here in a jiffy. I basically one-shot all of them. Is it true? You beat them all single-handedly? Well, they were actually all pretty low level, you see. Gods be good, I'm glad you're on our side. Anyway, I'll take it from here. My, very impressive, and how jolly convenient for those villains to appear exactly where we thought they would too. But above all, I'm glad no one was hurt. Well, no one important, that is. I'm relieved to see everyone safe. It must have taken a lot of courage to bring Ray here, knowing that danger could be lurking around every corner. Are you sure you're alright? If you're putting on a brave face for our benefit, there's no need to assure you. No, we're fine. Couldn't be better. Well then, I'd say that's enough excitement for one day. We best continue on our way to the Alamegan Quarter. Wares to sell, deals to broker, that sort of thing. I dare say it'll be some time before any ne'er-do-wells have the gold to descend on this neck of the desert. And as for you, my friends, I'd advise you not to stray too far from the beaten path, if you know what's good for you. Ta-ta! There's nothing left for us to do here, so let's head back to Port Praetoria. Actually, what was this quest? I'm willing to bet I didn't... Yeah, it looks like I never actually got around to finishing the weapon series. How far did I get? Wait, not Stormblood, it was Shadowbringers. Huh. Weird. So I did do Cloud Deck. Well, that was all very strange. One moment they're helping us to apprehend criminals, the next they're racing off to peddle their wares elsewhere. Merchants certainly are a busy lot, aren't they? Not that I'm complaining, of course. With those suspects in custody, I'm sure the Resistance will be able to wring some valuable information from them. I expect all that wringing will take a while, though. It looks like we've been given an opportunity to rest. You've certainly earned it. So Steelhog is patiently waiting for the Resistance to finish interrogating the captured highwaymen. Take me to your leader. At a guess, I'd say the Resistance has been interrogating the captured highwaymen long enough to get some answers from them. With any luck, we may even find more about where we can find Shortlefight. I'm sure the commander is as eager as we are to put a stop to his misdeeds. Let's go and see if she's unearthed any useful information. Ah, I was about to send someone for you. Glad you could save me the bother. I have a favour to ask of you both. I'm going to let the criminal walk free. I want you to follow him. You see, our questioning has revealed the bandits are indeed working with Shortlefight. If we cut one of them loose, he might lead us straight to their den. But if the mission fails and you're discovered, you may find yourselves confronted with an untold number of outlaws. Of course I considered sending my own men, but I suspect by now the bandits know our faces. After Ray's little display in the gully, I'm sure she alone can handle whatever trouble may come her way. I'll go with her. If this really does lead us to Shoulder fight, I need to be there when we find him. Very well, but if it comes to a fight, stay behind Ray. Understood? I'll have the suspect brought over now, but remember what I said and stay out of sight until he leaves. I mean, him turning loose. Don't look at me like that. I said I'm sorry, didn't I? Aye, that you did. Several times. And as much as it galls me, there's no evidence to contradict your claim you were acting in self-defense, nor is there tangible proof of any other wrongdoing. We've no choice but to let you go. You have somewhere to go, I presume? Well, I suppose I can find work loading caravans in Alagiri. Seems as good a place as any for making a quick kill. I mean turning over a new leaf. In that case, I'll have you escorted there. But you'd best keep your nose clean or we'll come down on you like a tons of bricks. Turn over a new leaf, my ass. He'll be back among his thieving mates before long and you'll be right there behind him. For now, all we need to know is the location of their den. Do not attempt to approach the suspects. I'll send word ahead to Alagiri. Once you have the information we need, report this troop stationed there. This is the chance we've been waiting for. Let's go! I wonder if this is an actual stealth mission or if it's just a go here, see the thing. Speak with Steelhog outside of Alagiri. I really should find somewhere better to put that the text bar for all of the stream chat, but the problem is that I feel like no matter where I put it, it's going to be covering up something important. It's almost like they made good use of the screen space for the HUD. There he is. So much for finding work. So much for finding work in Alagiri. He's only just arrived and he's already leaving town. Now comes the tricky part, keeping our eyes on him and his eyes off us. Stick close, but not too close. Oh yeah, this is a sneaking mission. After him! Ah, free! At last! Gotta make sure I ain't being followed! Hide! Better have a look around first. You know, this might be the first time we've actually had a collaborator when we're doing one of these sneaking missions. What a pretty stone! I bet it's worth a gil or two. Which way was it? The left, I think. I'm beginning to see why this is the person they chose as the patsy to get caught. Is he trying to get rid of us? Better have a look about. Looks like I'm not being followed. Are those buildings abandoned? Could have sworn I heard something. He won't be able to spot us if we keep hidden. Hang on. What happened to the others who got caught? Not my problem, I suppose. Time to head back. Oh. Okay. I can't believe it. Those are the merchants we met at Porta Praetoria. So they just let you go out of the kindness of their hearts, is that it? Not only that, but you came crawling back here, leading whoever they sent to track you right to our doorstep. I swear it, no one followed me. The soldiers took me as far as Alagiri, then went back the way they came. I made sure they were specks in the distance before I even set foot outside of town. I suppose I've no choice but to take you at your word. Not that it's worth much. Well, now that this charade is at an end, let us change into something a little less drab. Short of fight. Why did you make us fight that woman without the blessing? She could have killed a lot of us without breaking a sweat. A mere oversight, that's all. Though it pains me to admit it, even the invulnerability granted by the relic, the likes of us are ever at the mercy of the truly powerful. I never expected that Mamool wretch to hire a warrior of such caliber to retrieve the vessel. A pox on those interfering nincompoops! But the Mamool didn't seem a bad sort. Naive maybe, but it's plain that her heart's in the right place. You truly are pathetic. Not only did you fail miserably, but you're now sympathizing with the enemy. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't rid myself of you permanently. No, please. We owe everything to you, Shortlefight. Without you, we are nothing. They were all in on this from the beginning, with Shortlefight pulling the strings. If this is how he treats his friends, imagine what he'd do to his enemies. You couldn't stay away, could you? What? Imbecile! You let him write to us! Kakulja, eliminate these vermin! Let me handle this, Ray. You're from Taral, working here as a mercenary, yes? The ones who hired you stole the Steelhog from my village. We need its blessing to stand a chance against the beasts of the forest. I can't return home without the vessel. Either return home empty-handed, or you won't be returning at all. I'd rather not harm a fellow Durali, so get out of here before I change my mind. I've bought enough time by listening to your blethering. Don't let me catch you sniffing around our tails. Shortlefight and his underlings are out of sight. I thought I could make Kakulja see sense, but he was clearly in no mood to listen. I'd say our best option is report to the resistance members in Alagiri and share what we've learned. I went ahead and gave my account, though I expect he'd like to hear yours as well. Regardless of how things turned out, we appreciate your cooperation in the investigation. The information you've provided us has certainly given us a lot to consider. From what I hear, you almost came to blows with a Mamool sellsword, or sell axe, I suppose. I'm glad it didn't come to violence, especially given the power these bandits have at their disposal. Even so, we thank you for braving such a dangerous mission. No thanks are needed. We're just as much a part of this investigation as the Resistance. I'm sure we can agree that we'll need to work together to take down Shortlefight and his gang. The performance at Porta Praetoria showed just how cunning they are. Right, cunning. They definitely didn't give themselves away the moment they opened their mouths to me. It would seem so, yes. I'm told their little act was most convincing. I'll be sure to warn my comrades against similar shenanigans. As for the two of you, be careful out there. The funny thing is that because this is the ranged DPS class, you could absolutely do this as a dancer. You're beating these most terrifying of bandits by dancing and throwing chakrams at them. All things considered, I'd say that went fairly well. Shortlefight used the same trick as the time he came to my village, namely posing as a simple trader when he's in fact a dastardly thief. Still, not even the most skilled actor could fake the fear in his men's eyes. It seems Shortlefight has complete control over them and they are powerless to resist. The only one who doesn't seem afraid of him is Kakulja. He even let us go when he had no obligation to do so. I think if we had the chance to talk, we might find some common ground. I do kind of get that feeling, yeah. I knew you would. I've never been much of a fighter, but I make up for it in other ways. I'm a fairly good judge of character, for one. For most of my life, I've lived in a remote village, deep in the forest, I hardly had any contact with the outside world, so the thought of talking to strangers was quite daunting at first. But over the course of my journey, I've travelled through all kinds of places. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Wherever you go, people are people. In the end, our cultures and the places where we grow up don't make that big of a difference. None of us are perfect, we each have our faults, and even if it's hard to find in some than in others, I believe there is good in us all. That's why I hope we have another chance to speak with the thieves, and Kakulja. I'm certainly not strong enough to beat any sense into them, so I'll try talking some sense into them instead. Having said that, well, all of that, I can't even feel a shred of goodness in that Shortle fight. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, or perhaps violence is the only language he understands. Things might get a little rough before he's willing to listen. Anyway, we can save him for last. I'll try to think of a way to reach out to the other members of the gang. Give me a little time, would you? Yeah, what he said about fighting for the undertrodden and weak is complete balderdash. He really enjoys exerting the power he has over others. The milk of Mamool kindness. Steelhog's plan is taking shape. Alright, I have something resembling a plan. First we'll need to track down the members of Shortlefight's gang. Then we'll try convincing them to leave. Considering how terrified most of them were, I'm sure they're eager to be free of them. I'm sure they're eager to free themselves of Shortlefight and his outbursts. With fewer followers, we'll pose less of a threat to the people of Alamigo, and we'll stand a better chance of taking back the Steelhog vessel. Of course, we now know that Kakulja and some of the others by sight, so it shouldn't take too long to track them down. Time for another exciting round of Quiz the Locals then. Rest assured, I'm already a step ahead of you. Besides, if your role is to fend off bandits and the like, mine should be to gather information and whatnot. Does that sound fair to you? As it happens, our resistance friends stationed here had some interesting news to share. Apparently 2 men posing as merchants that we met before were spotted nearby, engaging in trade and conversing with caravan owners. All to nefarious ends, no doubt. They were last seen in a place called Alagana, so we should head over there right away. One has a beard, the other has blue eyes. Assuming they haven't changed their disguises, they should be fairly easy to find. Oh man, all the way over there. Hi, it's me again. Ah, good work, Ray. Oh, good day. What can I do for you? You can start by dropping the affable merchant act. It's nothing but a front for your real line of work. Save me, Shortlefight. Is that really what you want? You seemed so scared of him before. Look, we're not here to hurt you, we just want to retrieve the vessel. If you explain what's going on, we might even be able to help you. Why don't you start by telling us your names? Our names? Come to think of it, not once did Shortlefight ask us that. It was always, you there, or some undeserved insult instead. I'm Avenel, and this is Pippin. Both born and bred in Ildar, we were struggling to make ends meet until Shortlefight, claiming to be a merchant, took us under his wing. Right, he said that he was just like us, exploited and sick of bending over backwards for the rich and powerful. Then he showed us the artifact and told us it had the power to change the world for the better. With its blessing, you could shrug off the charge of an Aurochs like it was a short, soft breeze, making you practically invincible. You can imagine how impressed we were. We did exactly as he instructed. At first, he told us to pretend to be merchants so we could scout out vulnerable caravans. Next thing we knew, we were joining him on his raids. We never wanted to hurt anyone, but we owed Shortlefight for giving us the power to strive for a better life. And when we saw what happened to anyone who spoke up against him, it still makes my blood run cold to think of it. Shortlefight mentioned he's also from Eldar. Assuming he was telling the truth, that is. It seems to me his gang is mostly formed of people from a similar background, but what about Kakulja? He's a mercenary, correct? Yeah, hired by Shortlefight. He's so skilled I doubt he even needs the blessing. Normally, he keeps to himself, but once he told me about his homeland, an ocean away. Perhaps it is not unlike my own. Avenel, Pepin, even if you still view us as enemies, we appreciate you telling us the truth. No, we're the ones who should thank you. You've shown us more kindness than Shortlefight ever has. There is one other thing, though. Although you know about the crimes within Party 2, could you give us some time to straighten things out? Once this is all over, we'll turn ourselves in, I promise. She is very good at this. Of course, we're not the only ones looking to cut ties with Shortlefight. We'll try to persuade the others to leave the gang. Not only that, but with us acting as your men on the inside, we can help you take back your treasure. What do you say? Did we tell them about the... Did they hear about the treasure when we first met Shortlefight? I hope so. Otherwise that's foreshadowing to a backstabbing. This plan might work. Count us in. We'll tell the resistance soldiers to hold off for now. Give you the chance to put things right. You won't regret it. We'll return to the den and talk to the others. Until next we meet, be careful. To be honest, that went a lot better than I expected. And although it was fairly obvious from the outset, they confirmed my suspicions about Kakulja travelling here to find work as a mercenary. Do you remember his reaction when we first encountered him? I have a feeling he and I are both from a similar part of Tral. He was surprised to see someone like me here in Eorzea. Whatever the reason, he's let us go twice now. He may be aiding and abetting a nefarious criminal, but I refuse to believe he's a bad person. I think it's worth talking to him, and for that we'll need to create an opportunity. The way he spoke about his homeland to Avenel and Pepin means he probably misses it, which gives me an idea. Where I come from, we have a tradition of using incense burners, and if Kakulja's village is anything like mine, that fragrance will remind him of home. Then, just when he's feeling all homesick and vulnerable, we'll make our move. The incense itself is made from copal, a type of tree resin. Do you think you could, collect some of that while I gather the other ingredients? I actually came up with this idea back in Allegheny and asked our resistance associate where we may find copal. The good news is there should be some in the place called the Last Forest. The bad news is the smell attracts all sorts of horrible creatures. Try not to get eaten. Oh hey, that's somewhere around here. Oh, hi. Is that copal I smell? Oh my, this is quite the find. Once I mix this with the other ingredients, we'll have quite a batch of traditional incense ready for burning. Unfortunately, the preparation takes a little while, so in the meantime, perhaps you could begin the search for Kakulja? According to the locals, a Mamool has been seen near the river which runs through Rust Rock. With all the dust swirling about this place, I can imagine he'd want to watch it all off somewhere. I find myself bathing more than usual here, so I can relate. What are you doing here? Oh, there you are. Here, I have a present for you. It's an incense burner. The metal case is an old one I happen to have with me. But I made the incense from fresh ingredients, including the copal that Ray collected. Why not try lighting it? I'm sure the aroma will bring back pleasant memories of home. There's no need. I'd recognize that smell anywhere. But as much as I long to return home, I'd rather not be reminded of what I left behind, what I might never see again. As things stand, I've no choice to continue working as Shortlefight's mercenary no matter what crimes he commits. But why? The fare for a ship back to Tural is enough to buy a mansion here in Eorzea. At least that's what Shortleflight told me. He said that if I serve him loyally, he'd cover the cost of my journey home. That's a complete lie. You can get it for about 300 gil. That's barely a day's work. Hold on a moment. Surely that can't be right. People rich and poor travel from Eorzea to Tuliolo all the time. Well, since I'm unfamiliar with local customs for negotiations and such, Shortleflight offered to speak with the ship's owner in my stead. Compared to the journey from Tural to Eorzea, travelling in the opposite direction is far more perilous due to the weather conditions and so forth. Were it not for Shortleflight's skills at the bargaining table, the price would have been even higher, or so he said. Oh boy. Ugh, I've been played for a fool, haven't I? That unscrupulous thieving snake in the grass! He won't get away with this. I have an idea. You should come with me to Linza where I can introduce you to the captain of the merchant ship that brought me here. He's sure to give you passage home for a fair price. To tell the truth, I was rather hoping you'd join us in our cause, but you've already been through enough. Getting you home safe and sound comes first. And if it does turn out to be extravagant pricing, we do know the head of Leminza. I'm pretty sure Captain Merlwib would be happy to give him a local discount. I don't know what to say. Thanks for your kind offer, but I have unfinished business here. Though I may have been deceased, that is no excuse for the harm and suffering I've caused. I alone must settle the score with Shortleflight once and for all. You're not the only person with an axe to grind against him, though. Whenever you're ready, the offer still stands. It's pity we couldn't join forces, but he's got to do things his own way, I suppose. In any case, let's have it back to Alagiri. With all those soldiers around, we won't have to worry about bandits, which is more than I can say for this place. It's kind of funny how her "I want to see the best in people" is working out for everyone, But short will fight proves to be, no, he is actually the worst and doesn't deserve any mercy, and he was the one that she said, I'm having trouble finding any good traits in this man. So it's both confirming and rejecting her policy, I guess, her mindset. He's going to end up with absolutely nobody on his side simply because we talked to all of his workers. What's the excavator attack? I need a reminder on that. Right. So actually there's 4 different skills that work perfectly with reassemble. Drill, chainsaw, and excavator. You know, Kakuja isn't at all like his first impression suggested. He was actually rather sweet and perhaps a touch naive. Still, we can't blame him for being taken in by Shortlefight's lies. And Kakuja wasn't the only one. I can't bring myself to forgive that treacherous viper. Thanks to him, we've been led a merry dance and still have nothing to show for it. With any luck, our newfound allies Avenel and Pippin will have good news for us before long. Level 96, so this isn't the end of it, there's still going to be one more before our actual confrontation. And we get a driftwood catfish pie out of it. Ally in the alley. Settlejar appears to be somewhat discombobulated. You'll never guess what. Someone I've never met before handed me a letter who said they were asked to deliver it by an entirely different person. There's no way to tell who the message is originally from. As I'm unaccustomed to, well, everything around here, I can't tell if the letter should be taken at face value or if there's some hidden meaning. Perhaps you could take a look? Ray is to come to the Alamegan Quarter and meet with a man in spectacles. She must arrive incognito. The instructions are clear enough, but even so, this is suspicious as month-old milk. On the other hand, it could be from Avenel and Pepin. Oh, this smells like a trap. We don't have any better leads. I think we should do as the letter instructs, but proceed with the utmost caution. I'll meet you there. I mean, look at me. Doesn't this just scream incognito to you? Wearing some Vanguard clothing straight out of Solution 9. Alright, Alamegan Quarter is that nonsense over there. Alright, we're about an hour in, a little bit more than that. Maybe if we're lucky we can get into the casting job quest as well. We'll see. Now that you're here, it's time to get you into disguise. As for me, even the most elaborate costume in the world would do little to keep me hidden in a place like this. I'll stick to the shadows and watch from a safe distance. I took the liberty of picking your outfit for the occasion. Let's hope it fits, eh? The sash and straps are a bit tricky to get right, so if they come undone and your disguise falls apart, just come back to me. I'll help you get dressed again. We're in guise. Well, I suppose that's a touch more... a touch less suspicious. Unable to talk to someone while wearing this. You must be Ray, correct? I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. Our mutual friend Avenel sends his regards. Like him, I and several others have resolved to make a clean break and free ourselves from Shoal fight for good. You and the Mamool girl have done us a great service by giving us a chance to put things right before reporting to the resistance. Now, to the matter at hand. No doubt you're wondering why we must resort to such convoluted means to meet with you. Simply put, it's to avoid arousing the suspicions of Shoal fight and those still loyal to him. As for why we brought you here, there is someone we wish you to meet. For now, I ask you remain in disguise. Your cooperation is appreciated. One moment, please. I'm glad we have this chance to meet. Would that it be under better circumstances? My attempt to put a stop to Shoal fight's wrongdoing ended in failure. Probably because you're a melee class and this is designed for ranged attackers. I tried to seize the artifact, but he was ready for me. Even so, it wasn't all for nothing. Thank you all for joining me in spite of the ever-watchful eye of the Resistance. The time has come to initiate the next phase of my master plan. Until recently, we have concentrated our efforts on liberating wares from hapless merchants. But this was all in service to something greater. Our disruption to the flow of goods into Alamigo has plunged the markets, and as a consequence, the city itself, into chaos, which I have for exactly as I had foreseen. No longer will we be forced to crawl through the mud and lick the boots of the rich and privileged. We shall cast down the oppressors. They will suffer as we have. The meager shall inherit this land. Down with the old order. I've invested our funds into restoring and enhancing discarded Magitech weaponry. Now, nothing can stop us from taking over Alamigo. That's enough. Shoal fight. Your treachery ends here. All this time I believed your lies, but no more. Give me the artifact. Now. It belongs to Steelhog and her people. What? But Kakulja is Shoal fight's right-hand man. Silence! Look at this wretched soul. That Mamool girl has turned him against me, his one and only benefactor. Be warned, should any of you side with this traitor, no longer shall you bask in the artifact's blessing. Now seize him, or face the consequences! Yes, that's more like it. Yeah, unfortunately Kakulja is just all muscle and not too much cunning. Any further interference could place my entire plan in jeopardy. I must act without delay. We can't show that beatdown, it was too gruesome. With an artifact's blessing and its shockwaves at their disposal, it was given a beating and thrown into the dirt. Later on, my friend here and a few other sympathizers snuck out and treated my injuries. More importantly, my attempted mutiny will no doubt have Shortlefight panicking as he struggles to maintain his hold over the rest of the gang. An attack is imminent, with the palace's most likely target. I ask you relay this to Steelhog. At the very least, she has a right to know the whereabouts of the artifact. Well, I guess we know where our boss fight is going to be. So, what happened? Then we were right to trust the sender of the letter after all. We knew Kakulja had a score to settle with Shortlefight, but I had no idea he'd try to take back the vessel as well. Though we may not be working side by side, I'm glad to count him amongst our allies. Speaking of which, we must inform the Resistance about Shortlefight's plan right away. We stand a far better chance of stopping him with their support, but given the power at his disposal, even that may not be enough. I'll try to think of something. In the meantime, you should make whatever preparations you can. Even the smallest advantage may prove crucial. Oh, and I see you've changed back into your usual garments. Not that the outfit I didn't choose didn't suit you, but this is more your style. Steelhog steels herself for the final confrontation with Shortlefight. Avenel and Pepin are on their way here. That was fast. This Shortlefight, he set his plan into motion. It would have come sooner, but after Kakulja openly opposed him, he's become even more secretive than before. He refuses to share his schemes with even his most loyal. Thank you for the ban. Now he's used as a caravan to smuggle a load of Magitech into the city. He's about to launch an assault on the royal palace. We managed to sneak away, but Shortlefight and others will make their move any moment now. Understood, we'll head there right away. With no choice but to face them head on. While I wish there was more I could do to help, I'd best leave the fighting to you. No, what am I saying? There must be a way against help. The treasure is from my village. I should be the one to solve this. I'm sure you'll think of something on the way. I thought I'd find you here. Steelhog, you've already done so much for me and the others Shortlefight tricked into becoming accomplices. It would appear it's in your nature to help wherever you can. Nevertheless, your place is not on the battlefield. You must leave that to Ray and myself. But what about your injuries? They were not so severe to begin with, and those in the gang sympathetic provided me with various balms to treat the worst of them. I'm glad to know there's a few good eggs among them. But now that we've decided who's going, we need to plan. Honestly, it reminds me a bit of a Captain Planet episode where they lose access to all their rings. And they point out that you can't recreate heart power with their new friend makes a technology that can replicate the effects. And they point out, well, you can't recreate heart with that. And the counterpoint is, he's already used his heart to help me become your ally here. She's already done a lot, she doesn't need to help with every stage. From the way Shortlefight uses the vessel, it's clear there's one thing he hasn't realized yet. As we say in my village, cracks form in even the mightiest of shields. If there's a limit to the blessing's power, we'll find it. Whatever you do, you'd better do it quickly. Shortlefight and the others will soon reach the palace. We'll share everything we know with the Resistance and ask them to come as quickly as possible. Be careful out there. Oh, they left me behind. I've got to go somewhere else to get the instance. All the way to the airship landing, I guess. As I said, my wounds are healed. Even if they weren't, I'd still be here. They must have taken the long way around since the caravan won't be able to traverse the stairs. We, on the other hand, have no such concerns. Let's take a shortcut and intercept them. Then again, they may use the vessel's power to stop our advance. We'd best keep our eyes peeled for danger. You're the best choice to lead the charge, so we'll await your signal. Ready? Well, it's now or never. Sorry, this charging into battle stuff is all new to me. Won't pretend I'm not scared. But I'll try to stay out of your way. Besides, I can't afford to back down now, knowing what's at stake. Let's show Shortlefight who he's dealing with. Mightiest Shield. The shield that can stop any attack meets the weapon that cannot be blocked, etc., etc. Oh, that's Magitech armor. Infiltrating the city was almost too easy. Now go, comrades. The smoldering ruins of the old order will be the foundation of our utopia. And that is a terrifying digger motorbike. That's as far as you go. I thought I'd seen the last of you. We actually didn't get to hear anything about Seattle Jar's hometown. The others have backstories on where they come from, but I guess because Mamool Jar are shown in the main scenario, they didn't feel the need for that. Do you not see that this artifact can light up the meek from under the boots of their oppressors? Not just one isolated tribe, but everyone who's ever known fear. You call me a villain, but it's you who would keep such a liberating power to yourself. You are no better than those we struggle against, and only when your ilk have been eradicated will the world know freedom. The hour has come for us to rise up and take what is rightfully ours. My whole village might rely on the treasure's blessing, but we would never use it to steal from others. You lie, cheat, and sow nothing but misery. You don't want to cast down the oppressors, you want to be the oppressors. Silence! Enough of your sanctimonious prattle! Unbound. Shortlefight Craven's Creed? Wow, I can understand why you'd want... Oh boy. Yep, that's a pretty pathetic name. Perhaps I am every bit as wicked as you claim, but what of it? What is it with us having to Does your self-righteousness make you better than me? What is it with us having to fight with Magitech armor in Alamigo? For you and all those who judge me unworthy, my hatred will never die. Oh, it's the goofy music again. Unyielding metal. Protected by Steelhog's metal. Remember, cracks form in even the mightiest of shields. There must be some truth to it. Don't let up your attack. With the blessing, even one of us should be more than enough. Haha, you are powerless to stop me! It's working! Place your trust in the proverb! Oh boy. Once I've dealt with you, El Amigo is as good as mine! Keep this up and we'll be rolling in riches. Your day of rolling the roost are over. What the hells? The barrier's fading? Is this what he meant? Is this what you meant? Focus your attacks on the barrier's cracks. Ah! This can't be. They don't stand around gulping men. Get them! There's nothing to be afraid of. You fall short of height. This is the limit of the artifact's power. There's no match for that Mamool, the tackle jar. Leave this to me. Keep attacking the barrier. Dude, better fall back. Save us! I'm sorry! Meddling curs, let's see what you make of this. Oh boy. There's no new spring. We've got to strike from a distance. Yeah, we kind of flipped. How could they shatter the barrier? The artifact's power is absolute! He's doing something. Behold the power at my command! Uh-huh. Charge! The shockwave will make short work of you. Or it might destroy them instead, but eh. Ah! Imbeciles, show some backbone! What are you waiting for? Destroy them! Ah! How can this be happening? You lot keep them occupied! No, cut out for this! Just wanna go home! That's really bad quality Magitech. Useless! Do I have to do everything myself? I grant myself the full might of the blessing. Resist me at your peril. Even that shield will crack eventually. Trust in the teachings. Keep attacking. I don't need help to deal with the likes of you. At this rate, we won't last much longer. Don't give in, Kakuja. You still need to travel back to Tuliolo, don't you? You can't lose to someone like Shorty Fight. Oh, hello. I can do this. I know I can. Shining encouragement, spurred on by Steelhog's heartfelt support. Ha! You will learn the fate of those who betray me! Hey, stop the missiles! is this? Now, Ray! Smash the barrier! Focus your attacks on the barrier's cracks. Short of fight, you stole the vessel to threaten others, even your own followers. It's time you pay. Satil's words of encouragement bolster you. What happened to the blessing? Raging artillery, oh dear. Not so tough without the blessing, are you? Now's a chance, Ray. Keep going, you can do this. We got the vessel back, and it's still in one piece. Please, I beg of you, give me the artifact. All the trials I overcame to join the Unbound, everything I did was for a chance at happiness. Without the blessing, I'm nothing. My enemies will live on, unpunished. Enough! I've tried reasoning with you, but it seems there's only one language you understand. You know you've messed up when the kindest person here is upset at you. Ah! Are you alright? Never better. We surrender! Yeah, the only quality Magitech vehicle that they were using was the one Shortlefight was in, go figure. I'd say that Shortlefight's plans for world domination are well and truly over. Not only that, but the Steelhog vessel is back where it belongs, or at least it will be soon. Of course, I have you two to thank for everything. I quite literally couldn't have done it without you. Although the Resistance arrived more than a bit late, they've now taken Shortlefight and his cronies into custody. They're lucky we were on hand to confront the gang, or things could have ended very differently. I have to say, my first trip overseas was a lot more eventful than I'd have liked. But I'm glad I had the chance to meet so many interesting people. Well, apart from all the criminals, that is. As much as I'd love to spend more time seeing the sights and whatnot, I suppose I'd best get the vessel back to Toral. What about you, Kakulja? There's only one thing I can do. Turn myself in just like Pepin and Avenel. Even if I was dancing to Shortlefight's tune. The fact remains I committed those crimes of my own free will, and I must pay the penalty. Perhaps if I am one day granted freedom, I'd like to pay my way home with fairly earned coin. The first thing I'd do upon returning is visit your village and offer my apologies for using the artifact to carry out evil deeds. After that, No, it's too soon to speak of such things. Wherever your journeys lead, you're always welcome in my village. Be sure to come visit someday. How about you, Ray? If you happen to pass through Tuliolo, My grandfather would love to show his appreciation for all you've done. Maybe I'll see you there? Yeah, that one actually went by surprisingly fast. I think I could either go and see the rest of Carlo's quest, or I could get started on the casting quest. Don't know whether we'll have enough time to tackle the whole thing or not, but we can give it a shot. You returned, Ray! But tell me, what has become of my granddaughter? Why, I'm right here. We did it, Grandfather. We took back the Steelhog vessel. My dear, what a relief it is to see you safe and well. Of course, I'm glad you were able to retrieve the treasure, but even that cannot compare to the joy of seeing you smile once more. And to you, Ray, I must express the sincerest gratitude. No doubt we have you to thank for Steelhog's safe return, not to mention that of the vessel as well. Absolutely, I would have been lost without your guidance and bravery in the face of danger. Thank you truly. Anyway, we should be getting back to the village. No doubt the others will be clamoring to use the Steelhog vessel to go hunting. I'll be coming back to Tuliolo at some point, so hopefully we run into each other again soon. Until next time. She got too much energy, don't she? Some shields are made to be broken. Alright, jumping over to Summoner. Power forgotten. Suha seeks an adventurer with a penchant for the magical. Oh, hello. Did Brokevo send you to recover our stolen treasure? Thank the heavens, and judging by your accoutrement, you learned the arcane arts, yes? If so, with need of your power and wisdom. Oh, I've learned every class. Truth be told, it's a wisdom that we require most. You see, even though the treasure has been guarded by our people for generations, we know little of its true nature. In ages past, the forests of our homeland were plagued by terrible beasts, a constant source of fear and anger. To combat this menace, our mages spent many moons researching the treasure, known as the Perch of the Apex. Upon unlocking its secrets, they were able to drive the monsters from the woods, bringing peace at last. With the threat all but eradicated, our forebears forbade any further use of the treasure, and enshrined it within the village. As the years passed, we slowly forgot what it was to live in fear. Yet as our struggles faded into memory, stories surrounding the Perch of the Apex became legend and myth. Now none live and are certain of its true power. Yet the peace was shattered by a member of the Bandits Abound. The villain wheedled his way into our trust, then stole upon my husband, the treasure's appointed guardian, catching him unaware with a terrible blow that left him unconscious. He is yet to awaken, so my daughter Topeg has set forth to retrieve what was stolen. Unlike her father, she has no skill in the arcane arts and chose the path of the sword. That's why I've been seeking someone with the knowledge she lacks, should the ancient power be unleashed. Please, if you find it in your heart to help Topeke, I would be forever grateful. If there's a mystic artifact involved, count me in. Ah, thank you, thank you. Now, our only clue to the thief's whereabouts is from something he mentioned during his stay in our village. He spoke of his desire to bring change to a place called Radzat-Han. That is where Topeke decided to begin her search, so she boarded a ferry bound there, by way of Limsa with a trusted sword and shield close at hand. That's how you'll know her. She agreed to stay in Radzat-Han to gather information until aid arrived. I know nothing of the place, but it's likely she can be found in a marketplace or some such. Please bring our treasure and my daughter safely home. I mean, Radzat-Han is now a strong ally of Tuliolo, isn't it? We were under attack recently and they sent us a dragon. Ah, are you looking for me? Whatsoever for? Ray? And you say my mother sent you? I take it she's already explained the details, such as how we know next to nothing of the treasure and its capabilities. We only have the legends passed down through our forebears to go on. They speak of a Toral Vidral of an owl that once terrorized the forests, whose soul is sealed within the perch of the apex. The tales have only become more vague as mists of time obscure the treasure's origin. Even our village's eldest remembers naught but ominous warning uttered by those who once wielded its magics. The master of the apex shall be showered with good fortune, yet leave only sorrow in their wake. It's clear that despite owing their safety to the apex's power, our forebears viewed it as something to be feared. It must be truly immense. Now on to the matter of the thief. Even during our brief acquaintance, he made plain his desire to bring change to Radzat-Han. Naturally, I started my search here and have been seeking anyone who's expressed dissatisfaction with the status quo. Sure enough, I soon heard tales of a recent arrival, a stealth-styled savior of Radzat-Han who proclaims he will lead the city to greatness and calls himself the Justicia. We'd better watch out for the lamp and the beak then. He's apparently taken on the duty and burden of personally exterminating the beasts which infest Travner's wilds. He made a great show of claiming he alone is equal to the task. While he certainly draws a crowd with his boasting, they only watch with morbid curiosity as he sets off into the jungles alone. I realize this could have nothing to do with our problem, but even the smallest lead must be pursued. I've heard he often gives speeches at the region's smallest settlements, so shall we go see this Justicia ourselves? It's decided. I hear Yerlimad would be a good place to start. Hopefully we can find our next crumb of a clue. I think that was the linking theme between the passage of the Unbound, is that all of them had issues with the status quo and felt that they'd be that if I were in charge, then things would be much better. Yeah, that away. Actually, what was it that... Oh, right, the Crucible stuff. We don't have enough poetics for amplifying Achondrite. We don't have enough poetics for 3 chunks of amplifying Achondrite, unfortunately. Hey, we're in luck. This boy saw the very man we seek. It seems he gave the same grand speech about saving the people, claiming that danger lurked nearby before venturing forth to combat it alone. Yet the Radiant host could not well stand idle if they were truly beasts of foot, so one of them followed him. All we need to do is pick up the trail. He ran towards the shroud, but you might be able to spot him from Kajaya's footsteps. You can see the whole forest from up there. Thanks, you've been very helpful. So Ray, let's head there and see what we can see. Someday I really should go around and tune up all of Ray's old classes a bit. Now, let's begin our search. Since I've actually never seen the Justiciar, I suggest we find the Radiant Host soldier first. They do all wear similar armor after all. Search your surroundings. Oh no, please don't ask me to zoom in and out, my mouse wheel is busted! I can't zoom in game. I can see him, you're just not letting me zoom. That must be him, but what happened? We'd better get down there quickly. Not to worry, Ray. He's unconscious, but otherwise appears unharmed. What happened? We heard you came here in pursuit of the Justiciar. Do you remember anything? Yeah, I eventually found him. He was confronting that fiend that now lies dead. Oh, great, he's a bard. At last, the Justiciar graces Redzethan. I shall bring unending peace to this beleaguered land. You are brave to follow in my path. Few indeed possess the mettle to even consider the terrors which threaten our home, let alone stand against them. Yet courageous though you may be, you are far too weak to fell a beast so mighty. Quit this place with your life while you are yet able. I am of the Radiant Host. If I ran such from meager prey, I would become a laughingstock. How bold to look death in the eye without flinching. I doubt not your conviction to find Rad's at hand, yet I believe it pales before mine. O Apex, bestow upon me your divine might! He doesn't actually know how the blessing works either, so he's just going to randomly try it until it does something. Did you not heed my call? I require your power more than ever! Is something supposed to happen? Why? Am I yet unworthy? Or mayhap there is a button I must press. This is not what I expected. Stand aside, I'll dispose of this pest. Did you just give me a moment to think? It cannot end like this. I won't be made a fool. Come on, you moldy trinket, work! Transform me into the hero of Rad's at hand! Oh, now he's figured out how to get it working. Oh, I get it now. It's a probability manipulator. It's Danganronpa 2's divine luck. Whenever they use it, it gives him perfect luck, but at the cost of everyone nearby. He brandished that idol and became wreathed in a mysterious light. Then boulders started raining from the sky. Down they came, one after the other. That's when I must have been struck unconscious. I recall only faintly, but I think I heard the man mumbling, quite excitedly, as if he had come upon a sudden revelation, or as if he was overtaken by madness. Seems he got away unscathed. Either he had an incredible stroke of luck, or whatever he was beseeching actually answered. Then it says I suspected this Justicia is the self-same thief who stole the perch of the Apex. But no doubt he's long departed from here. First I'll escort this fellow back to Yardley Mad and keep a close eye on him. Head wounds can have dreadful after effects. The soldier made his way to Rad's at hand to make a formal report, and what an odd report it will be. His account seemed to align with legends of the treasure's powers. The wielder escaped unharmed and brought ruin to those around him. Could those fallen rocks have been a freak accident? I'm not so sure. You won't believe it! He came back! Who came back? The Justicia? Yeah, not long after you left. Darn it, we could have stayed in one place and it would have caught him. He said he beat out a monster that knocked out a Radiant, and he was laughing his head off. Did he really do that? Is he really stronger than the Radiant? Whatever he did, the monster was slain, I suppose. Well, my mate can't stop talking about him. He wants to be just like the Justicia. His mum and dad weren't happy about that, though. I'd advise you and your friend look for a different role model, but we thank you for telling us about what happened. Well, there is one less fiend skulking about, I suppose. He may have been simply testing the treasure's capabilities, and as far as we know, he's yet to use it for his power for evil ends. I find his motivations a mystery. To steal the purge of the Apex by force only to come here to Thavnir and use it for good? It makes no sense. You've heard tell of this passage of the Unbound, yes? Many have ventured to Tuliolo claiming to be their victims. Yet here they would be saviors? If he had such noble goals, then why did he stoop to such devious deception? What could he be plotting? But that's neither here nor there. He stole from our people, and that misdeed can't be forgiven. The purge of the Apex helped us win peace. By its might, our forebears built the foundation of the lives we now lead. Until recently, it stood silent, a symbol of our pride as a people. It reminded us that we carved out a home within that inhospitable wilderness. Being trusted with its protection is a great honor. I was so proud of my father when the elders chose him. So proud to be his daughter. Yet since the day it was stolen, some of the other villagers made their disdain towards him only too clear. I couldn't bear it. That's why I must get it back, to restore my village's pride and my father's reputation. There's still so much we don't know about the Justicia, but we have to assume he's learned to wield the Apex's power. I can't say whether those falling rocks had anything to do with it, but I won't discount it outright. I'll continue looking into his whereabouts. While we still have so many questions with both of us working together, we'll find answers soon enough. A brand of justice. Tepeke wears a troubled expression. Right, I'm afraid there have been some developments that are less than encouraging. News of the Justicia's actions have spread throughout the city, with each retelling his deeds becoming more valorous. The younger citizens in particular seem to view him as something of an idol. Despite the creatures he hunts posing no real danger, he would paint them as mighty beasts in need of felling. Of course, the Radiant hosts are far too busy to trouble themselves culling every pest that casts a sideways glance at the city's gates. Yet Justicia has twisted circumstances to his advantage. He proclaims to anyone who will listen that the Radiant hosts shrink with terror before these beasts, and he's the only one who can eradicate them. Though you may not expect such claims are dismissed as wild ramblings, it seems no few people have fallen for his ploy. The whispers of his exploits among the youth have particularly grown into a clamour. Yet we mustn't be discouraged, for his increasing fame only makes it easier for us to sniff out his trail. We're better to start it than at Red's at hand. I'll see you there, Ray. I can see where this would become an actual major problem. If he decides the ruling dragon of the city should be slain to prove his own reputation, that'll cause a major problem. So we do actually have to stop this guy. Oh right, I could just teleport there. given how large the city is, let's split up to cover more ground. I already have a destination in mind, the High Crucible. I hear the alchemist there can concoct all manners of tinctures and powders, including those that help in detecting traces of energies left behind by magics and enchanted tools. Fallen rock. Oh dear, I skipped that. Fallen rocks have invariably marked locations where the Justicia has performed one of his feats, and I believe an alchemical mixture can help us determine if their presence is the work of the treasure. I'm hardly an expert in such concoctions though, so I'll seek advice at the High Crucible. While I'm doing that, I would ask that you go to the Hall of the Radiant Host and see if they have any new information on the Justicia's whereabouts. Does that plan sound agreeable to you? Great, now that we both have our tasks, let's get to them. I'll meet you back here once my business is done. Hall of the Radiant Host is the place where you have to do role quests for level 90. No, that's not it. It's over here. And since I've already done all the role quests for level 90 on Ray, it's very nice and quiet over here. I'm tired of hearing about this Justicia. His popularity among the city's younglings is quickly becoming a cause for concern. Try as we might to refute his claims that the Radiant Host are allowing monstrous beasts to run amok unchecked. You know how young minds are. Impressionable, and difficult to change once set. We initially disregarded him as a boastful eccentric, but his alarming sway over the populace can no longer be ignored. We are at present considering whether to open a formal investigation into his activities. You and this ally of yours have done well in your search so far. You even have a working theory about the falling stones. Quite impressive. Several of our number have encountered him during their patrols, only to lose sight of him under a hail of rocks. Such incidents are all become too frequent, and many in our ranks demand we act. For now, I'm afraid this is all the help I can offer. Please share what I've told you with your companion, and together we may yet unmask the Justicia. It's heartening to know that the Radiant Hosts are taking this seriously. Thank you for speaking with them, Ray. I have two good tidings as well. I explained the situation to the alchemists, and they have provided a powder that should help in detecting traces of magic in the surrounding environment. I say help because the powder reacts only faintly on its own. To function properly, it requires the skill of one practicing the arcane arts. Luckily I have you. I've committed the locations of all sightings of the Justicia to memory, and the closest to us was at the Perfumed Rise. Let's hope this powder works as intended. It's good to know that I am a glorified fingerprint powder dispenser. I thought we might be doing something cool with magic. The Justitia was sighted around here, and I didn't see any other conspicuous stones around, so I've sprinkled the powder over this one. Now, concentrate your focus, or inner eye, or whatever it is that's the locus of your power, and see if you can't detect any unnatural forces. Go Carbuncle! So, were you able to detect anything? I knew you could do it. So, because there are no crystals in the rock, the energy you detected must be the remnants of some kind of spell. Is that right? And taking the story of the Radiant we rescued previously into account, we can conclude that the Justitia uses the treasure to call those stones down from the sky. I need to show you, at some point on stream, show the Alchemist level 50 to 60 story quests, because those are actually pretty cool because you use your alchemy to act as a forensics investigator for someone committing murders. It is actually pretty interesting stuff. At least we now have an inkling of its true nature. Even so, not every question has been answered. The Radiant told us that even as the Justitia stood before the creature, he seemed to have trouble calling forth the Apex's power at first. My father once said that the Purge of the Apex is much like the wand he used to weave his magics. Of course, the main difference between them is the unique nature of the essence stored within the treasure. I know such little of such arcane instruments, but you must be quite familiar with them. How do you use yours? I rely on sheer willpower, I perform incantations, I channel ether into it. Oh man, I don't actually remember. I think Arcanimus is about calculations. I see, even with the right instrument, spellcasting requires the use of specific techniques. The Justitia seems to lack any such expertise, so how did you tap into the treasure's power? I suppose the Perch of the Apex possesses some unique method of activation. When I spoke to the representatives of the other tribes about their treasures, no one mentioned special techniques being required, not that the relics should have much in common to begin with. You too. Did you see an Ori girl pass through here by herself? I'm afraid not. What happened? Wait, I recognize you both. The hero of the final days and our recent visitor from Tural. Apologies for the imposition, but may I beg your assistance? It's that Justitia's fault. The girl said she was off to join that fool's crusade and ran out of weirdly mad before anyone could stop her. Her mother begged us to find her, but if she's following the Justitia, she could be anywhere. You see, he's been sighted at locations scattered all over Thavnir. We can't stand here looking at rocks while a girl is in danger, especially if the Justitia is involved. We have to help. That'd be much appreciated. We're searching places where the Justitia's been spotted before, so perhaps you could start where he hasn't been seen? Good idea. As far as I know, he has been sighted at the northern shores. Come on, Ray. Oh wait, do you have something to say? I'll start my search right away. Pray hurry to the northern shores. I hope we can find the girl soon. I don't see her anywhere. I hope she's safe. She is not safe. She is very much not as safe. I heard fighting, so I came as fast as I could. It's a good thing you arrived in time to save the girl. Thank you, miss. Thank you. I'm glad you're safe, but your mother must be worried sick. You shouldn't wander off like that, especially not to look for a trickster like the Justicia. What, you mean he's a bad man? Yes, exactly. He stole an important treasure from my village and now he's using it to make himself look brave. But he needs it to kill monsters, to protect us. That's no excuse for stealing. He might have fooled your younglings, but the Radiant hosts know what he's up to. But he said he'd save us from the monsters. He's our hero. The Radiant said we shouldn't be scared, but we all know the Justicia is the one who keeps us safe. We don't need the Radiant anymore. This is for such a... He looked comedic in that first cutscene, but he's doing a lot of damage here. No hero can save the world alone. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say bad things about the Radiant. They protected everyone in the final days. I guess I forgot how much they care about us. I'm sorry too, I shouldn't have spoken to you like that after all you've been through. You said that Justicia is a thief and a trickster, but I hope it's not true. He's my hero. Well, I'd best escort her back to Yedley Mad. I'll meet you there later, like Ray. Okay, can I teleport there? Yes, I can. The girl and her mother are reunited, and I think we can both give ourselves a pat on the back. They're on their way now to inform the Radiant host that all is well. I would like to apologize for before. I let my emotions get the better of me and rang the poor girl when she was hardly to blame for anything. I really should have been scolding myself. Right, she found it personal because of how everyone turned on her father when he'd been doing his job to protect the relic. Ray, there's something I neglected to tell you before. The man who calls himself the Justicia came to us in the guise of a worldly merchant. He was eager to ask about the Purge of the Apex and its history, and I was equally eager to tell him, not even considering what he might do with the information. I'm so proud of my father for being appointed as its guardian. I suppose I was trying to impress the stranger out of sheer vanity. That vanity led to my father being attacked and the treasure being stolen from under our noses. I have no choice but to make amends for my mistake and bring it back. Yet somehow convinced the Justicia only acts to serve the greater good. I couldn't accept that he might not be as rotten as I thought and lashed out at the wrong person. From now on, I can't let my emotions cloud my judgment. I must remain calm and look at the facts for what they are. And the facts say the Justicia has done no harm to the people of Thavnair. Even so, the organization he serves, the Passage of the Unbound, is evil to its very core. If his actions at my village are not villainy, I don't know what is. The situation is fraught with contradictions. I still don't know what to think. What about you, Ray? Even if he hasn't attacked anyone, his actions are stirring unrest. I agree. He speaks of justice and heroism with great bluster. Yet there's something we're missing. Thank you, Ray, for your wise words. I sometimes find it difficult to keep my heart from skewing my perspective, so I'm grateful that you're here to help me see clearly. So it seems our objective is unchanged. We track down the man who stole my people's sacred treasure. Whatever his intentions may be, unraveling them comes secondary to finding the man in himself. I'll continue to pour my every effort into the search, so stop by from time to time and I may have something new to share with you. Oh boy, this one's gonna be long. We might have to cut halfway through, but we'll see. Tepeke is eager to share new developments in the search for the Justicia. Ray, I hope you've been well. Since last we spoke, the Justicia has been very busy felling fiends from all across Thavnair, leaving a trail of witnesses behind in his wake. More than a few have reported seeing stones fallen from the sky, which all but confirms our theory that the treasure is causing the phenomena. The stories share one more peculiar commonality. It seems the pests he hunts have all been of the seedkin variety. Why he avoids feasts of flesh and blood is yet a mystery. Bears mentioning that each of these eyewitness accounts came from people who were rescued by the Justicia, who invariably appears just as these creatures attack. In fact, the Justicia has been there to save the day in every single instance of Seekin-related mischief. Awfully suspicious if you ask me, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Some among the Radiant hosts have suggested the Justicia is planning these assaults somehow, so he alone can reap the glory from thwarting them. I agree and think this should be our next avenue of investigation. Many of these incidents occurred near Giant Skull grounds, so we should start a search there. If we can find one of these monstrous plants before it finds hapless prey, we may be able to shed light upon the Justicia's methods. Time is of the essence, so let's leave at once. Okay. Yeah, Palika's stand is faster. It does seem like they're going less for this relic makes you extremely lucky and more this relic calls down rocks on people's heads. But the thing is, the fact that the opening text about it was it brings good fortune at the cost of others makes me think that it really is going to be some sort of luck manipulation. Any moving bushes? Slithering vines? Not here in any case. Right, I'll search the western path. Why don't you search the east? If you see something, don't strike to kill. Weaken it, then capture it with this rope. We'll learn much more from a live specimen. Oh great, it's a marble. Just what we wanted. Burn it! The creature is weak. Use the rope. I see plenty of fauna roaming around, but the flora all seem to be of the rooted to the ground variety. Perhaps my hunch was incorrect. Not even aurochs could break free from the knots binding this mobile seedling. You found one! In fact, this is exactly as an eyewitness described. Why don't you keep it for the time being? Bring it to the Great Work and I'll ask my acquaintance there to examine it with all haste. Pretty sure we're going to get there before you because we can fly, but also we can teleport. We also have that. Mistress Topeke told me what to expect. Well, let's see the thing. What does Topeke have to say? This alchemist and I spoke briefly the last time I was here. Give her the little seedkin you caught. We'll see what she makes of it. Alright, so... well, I didn't expect it to be so... diminutive. If Mistress Tepeke's intuition is correct, I expect some interesting discoveries are in store. You've brought me quite the fascinating specimen indeed. I can say for certain that this creature's growth isn't natural in the slightest. Biologically, it's still but a sapling as you can tell by its size. Yet it is the result of a specific alchemical mixture which is used to spur the growth of seeds and mycelium to an unnatural degree. The agents have a side effect of making the creatures more aggressive, which explains why such a small specimen would so boldly attack beings larger than itself. Yet the solution requires ingredients most rare, and the cost of procuring enough to synthesize it would be beyond the means of most. So whoever is behind this, they are likely well heeled. As for the creatures themselves, if they were all grown artificially, perhaps that explains why most of the incidents involved small seedkin. Rather than wait for them to mature naturally, the Justicia must have accelerated the growth so he could deploy huge numbers over a short span of time. In fact, his plan likely requires that they be small, weak foes in order to guarantee his victory. After all, the great Justicia can hardly be expected to bear the blemish of defeat. With these new details brought to light, it's almost certain he's staging these attacks on the common folk. Now we have a new perspective to guide our search. Perhaps you should return to the Edlimad. I hear the Justicia is the talk of the village. They doubtless have stories to share. Splendid idea, thank you. Your findings have brought us a step closer to unmasking that villain. Let's hurry to Yedlimad. The more accounts we have of the Justicia, the better our chances of predicting his next move. You know, I never did look at what spell I get for reaching level 100. Enkindle Solar Bahamut, Sunflare, Summon Solar Bahamut. Lightworm Trance. Demi Phoenix, Demi Bahamut, Solar Bahamut. So we basically have three major summons instead of two now. Rest assured, the Radiant host are well aware of the Justicia. Every day we receive more reports of him combating beasts in the surrounding wilderness. These encounters are never on well-travelled roads, it seems. They occur in remote regions we scarcely patrol, along routes that are only used for a small number of merchants and porters. We've concluded that the Justicia either has uncommon knowledge of the behavioural patterns of these creatures, or he keeps close company with a merchant who travels those obscure paths. So he's a merchant dressed up as a superhero. Don't tell me you've come chasing that half-baked saviour. The younglings may be taken in by his honeyed words, but anyone with experience can see he's nothing but a charlatan, and I have a story to prove it. The merchant I know took a tumble as he was transporting his goods. Not long after comes the Justicia, looking chivalrous as you please in his shining armour. But did he offer a helping hand? No, he ran off with an area glance backwards. He may go on about slaying beasts, but a real hero would never ignore someone in need, even if they were just suffering from a scraped knee and bruised ego. On the upside, we do know that he's not going to attack the dragons in charge. He's too much of a coward. Oh, you're hungry to learn more of the Justicia? He's amazing! I was lucky enough to catch a glimpse of him on the road leading here, facing down a fearsome creature. I don't know how he did it, but he called down rocks from the sky to knock that thing flat. The Radiant hosts were away on patrol, so if he hadn't come to our rescue, that brute would have marched right into our homes. He shouted he was the saviour of Razathan and even waved at me. Ah, he looked so impressive with the sun shining behind him. Who's your friend? Ray, do you have a moment? I'm having a little trouble here. I sought this merchant out because he told me he dealt with the alchemists in the Great Work. I thought he might know something about the Justicia, but when I asked well, he's been like this ever since. Apologies, I was just surprised you would ask me about that madman. What connection could he possibly have with me? The fiends he fights are grown with rare alchemical materials. We think he may be staging these encounters. Since you deal in such wares, I was wondering if you might know how he came into their possession. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I've never spoken to that man. Can we just handcuff him right away? I very much doubt that. Perhaps he'll be more receptive to questioning from you, Ray. He seems to have intimate knowledge of trade routes and alchemy. Who taught him, I wonder? Come now, any merchant with a nose for profit has good relations with the alchemists. By your way of thinking, any of us could be in league with Virazan. Virazan, you said? Who is that, may I ask? Huh? What did... No, that's my name. I'd be a fool to continue this charade any longer. My son Virazan is the one you know as the Justicia. To be suddenly confronted with his litany of misdeeds, I quite lost my composure. You're his father? Then do you know how he came into possession of such rare materials and knowledge? He stole them from me. My most valuable materials and my precious maps, yet I was the one who chose to hide that fact. I bear the blame for the consequences. What can you tell us about him as a person? Virazan was obsessed with tales of legendary heroes even from a young age. I paid a great deal of money to have him tutored in the art of the bow. He became quite skilled at it, but not quite as skilled as his arrogance led him to believe. Due to this and perhaps a lack of ambition, he never truly aspired to greatness. Instead, he came to rely upon fanciful equipment and exotic potions rather than honing what skill he had. It pained me to see him fall into dissoluteness, but he would brook no counsel. So several years ago I gave him enough coin to support his lavish lifestyle and told him to never speak with me again. He didn't, until but recently when he darkened my doorstep once more. And that was when he stole your goods? Though I would have willingly given them if he had but asked. He was ramblingly, almost incoherently, saying his heroic deeds as the Justitia had caught the eye of someone named Apea, the leader of the Passage of the Unbound, whoever they are. He claimed that under the guidance of his newfound allies he obtained great power, power enough to eclipse all heroes who have come before and shall come after, as he put it. It seems he gives what money he still has to these people. To think that for all those fanciful words, he only deigned to grasp at hollow glory, all at the expense of Reds at hand. There is no greater shame as a father. Given what we know of this shadowy group, they most likely aim to sow discontent through Virazan's deeds. He may be so blinded by his own desire for adoration that he can't see whose hands are pulling the strings. You're saying that he's being used? If that's true, I can no longer remain silent despite what shame it may bring. I see now that sharing my story may be the only way to save my son. Indeed, I suggest you tell the Radiant Host at once. Of course, we'll all be pouring our every effort into stopping him. Thank you for giving me direction. I didn't imagine our meeting would end this way. Truth be told, I'm not entirely unsympathetic towards Virazan. I bask in my father's reflected glory while having none of my own to speak of. The glory Virazan seeks is similarly false. I too shall visit the Radiant Host and have them spread word of the Justicia's true nature. If the people are wise to his trickery, they'll be far more likely to aid us. You'll soon learn that a legend built on lies is no match for true heroism. Hang on, what level was that? I think that was level 94. Yeah, we're not nearly done with this. Things are probably going to scale up much worse. Floundering Fame. Floundering Fame. Tepeke appears pleased with the blow dealt to the Justicia's credibility. Greetings, Ray. Virazan's father has been as good as his word. He confessed the truth of his son's actions to whomever will listen. Even among the younglings, far fewer sing the Justicia's praises. The tide is turning in our favor at last. The Radiant Host are making ready to tighten the net. Speaking of which, they've had curious news to share. They've been examining the stones left behind by the Justitia and noticed a pattern. They were all varieties of rock commonly found near the site of each encounter. For instance, near the Giant Skull grounds, the Justicias seem to have called down a hail of what else but Giant Skull. I have my own theories about what this means, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, Ray. The rocks weren't summoned, but moved. Indeed, the perch of the apex likely lifts whatever stones are nearby and brings them crashing down to earth. If our suspicions are correct, we're one step closer to unraveling its mysteries. But despite these favourable developments, the Justicia's popularity remains a problem. Even with the recent blow to his credibility, his most ardent followers still idolize him. In fact, I hear he's handing letters to the youth of Rads at hand, though their contents are a closely guarded secret. All the more reason to investigate, don't you think? Once we get to Rads at hand, if I question people around the marketplace, could you cover the city's western quarter? That's where his younger followers tend to gather. After we've collected enough information, let's meet to share our findings. See you again in Rads at hand, Ray. There's only two places you can go in Thavnair, unfortunately. For Rads at hand, Islabad. So it is a lot of jumping back between the city and the jungle. Just as she gave me that invitation himself, only for some thief to snatch it out of my hand. Huh? You believe in the Justitia too? Well, I didn't have the chance to read the whole letter before it was stolen, but he's gathering his most devoted for a special audience. The bastard who stole my invitation is clearly up to no good. He even muttered something about getting revenge, but who could hate someone so noble? Oh, you're the one who's always following that Tepeke around. I heard she's been spreading rumors about this city's savior. I won't let her harm his reputation any more than she has, so I have nothing to say to her lapdog. Yeah, I know about the letters. Me and my friends didn't get one though. The grown-ups get angry if you talk about the Justicia. But guess what? I heard Zashel talking about him over by Maride's Main. He had a big grin on his face too. Does that mean that Justicia isn't a bad man like the grown-ups say? The most useful clues point to the merchant Zashel having some connection to Virazan. He was last seen near Maride's Main. Oh boy, we're going to go get more alcohol, huh? Ugh, it's true what they say. A fool and his gill are soon parted. Huh? Well, why if it isn't one of the heroes of the final days? This isn't about that map I sold to your companion, is it? Oh wait, you're the guy who was running that scam for Estinian, I guess. You'll find it where it points the way to the vaults of Alzal III, exactly as described. I may have employed a few creative methods to entice my customers, but what merchant doesn't? I see you're as unscrupulous as ever. Now, a man can't fill his belly on virtue and honesty. Any road, something tells me that's not why you're here. You're after the Justicia? The choice of quarry is unusual, to say the least. Perhaps I can help you along, eh? A young man came asking about a map to open the way to Uznair. I sold him every map I had, assuring him that the one he needed was among them. I suppose he found it, as I hear these letters were handed out contain a copy of the map. I dare say that young fellow was the Justicia himself, and he's planning a clandestine meeting in the Uznair canals. Mind you, it appears he has no shortage of enemies. No doubt they'll try to interfere. Thankfully, Radzat isn't known for large-scale criminal organizations, but that hasn't kept the less scrupulous citizens from dirtying their hands when times are desperate. From what I hear, bandits seeking to rob trade caravans keep running into the Justicia during his fiend-felling exploits, causing their race to end in failure. Like as not, they'll try to infiltrate his group of followers and settle the score. And that's where my knowledge of the matter ends. If you're wondering where the meeting place is, all I remember is that the spot marked on the copied maps is somewhere in the Shroud of Samgar. So, does that answer your queries? Yeah, this sounds like it's about to blow up in the most horrible way possible. Looks like running forward would actually be faster. Oh wait, I walked right past her because I was busy looking at my stuff. Those in support of the Justicia didn't seem surprised when I told them of his misdeeds. But still they were reluctant to betray him. Short I've had no luck. What about you, Ray? Your investigative abilities never cease to amaze me. As for this gathering visitors and his planning, I expect it's some scheme to prop up his flagging popularity. Even so, many of his devotees are younglings ill-equipped to make perilous journeys to the meeting place. If they've any sense, rather than attempt to travel there directly, they'll stop at settlements along the way to rest and confirm the route. You said the map led into the Shroud of Samja, yes? That means Palakistan is the closest settlement. I hear many refugees took refuge there during the final days, and now it's a bustling town in its own right. The arrival of more people would hardly raise eyebrows, making it the perfect place to avoid unwanted attention while they make ready. We should head there before they leave on the final leg of their journey. Okay, yeah. I think unless it looks like it's going to go really quickly through the next 2 ranks to get to the instance, I might have to call this midway because it is approaching 3 o'clock on my end, so it's probably very late for you. I was right, Ray. Many of the youths here are carrying pieces of parchment. Those must be the letters. Yet it seems my reputation has preceded me. Our suspected followers clearly avoid me whenever I try to approach them. Still, we can use this to our advantage. None of them would dare leave the Palakistan while there's risk I might follow after. I'll keep watch over their comings and goings, but we'll make sure to leave obvious blind spots. If one of Justitia's followers attempt to escape the village, I need you to go after them. Now, find a vantage point that affords a good view while keeping you hidden. Once you've started pursuing our unwitted target, I won't be far behind. The thing is, with the way we were poking out from behind that box, I can't help but feel like he would have noticed us. Time to follow the map. No one's following. Is someone there? I'm in the clear. I need to hurry. It's dark, so I actually can't see where the good cover for hiding from this guy if he needs to turn around is. I made it! Did something move? It's just my imagination. It's just a carbuncle, don't worry about it. The map points here. The portal should be nearby. Then I'll finally get to meet him. What? You're the hero who saved us in the final days. What are you doing here? So, you're working alongside that woman I saw at the village. I heard about the rumors she's spreading, but I had no idea she'd enlisted your aid. The Justitia saved me, you see. I was transporting goods for a local merchant who was too miserly to even hire a proper escort. A ferocious creature ambushed me, but my savior appeared from nowhere and saw off the beast. I owe my life. That's why I came here, to see if there's any truth to the rumors. But now I understand I'm in over my head. I'm going back home. Here, you can have the map. I trust you to take the measure of the Justicia and share the truth with us all. It's good to know that the work that we did here did get us at least some leeway with the residents. Apologies for watching from the shadows, but I was afraid my presence might have startled the lad. I was able to hear what he said though, and his gratitude towards the Justicia seems genuine. I dare say the other followers feel similarly. Well, now that we have a map of our own, let's open the portal and confront Virzan. It's not going to be an instance, at least. What a sight. Did the treasure cause this? Oh, if it isn't the hero who saved Rezathan, nay, the world itself. I never expected someone so vaunted to attend my audience, but I am honored nonetheless. Enough of your games, Virzan. Stop this madness at once. After giving you such a warm welcome, these are the thanks I get. Well, 'tis true I was once known by that name. 'Twas merely a guise I wore until I discovered my true self. So long as I am the masked hero of Rezathan, I shall not suffer any to call me Virzan. But that is your name, isn't it? Why don't you drop the act and try being a true hero? A true hero, you say? Indeed, perhaps casting aside this magic is the price I must pay for the adoration I am due. Very well, my name shall ring throughout Rezathan. Let it be known that the Justicia is Virzan and Virzan is the Justicia. What are you saying? You unleashed the purge of Apex upon your own followers? You know its name? Wait, I remember you. The girl from Dawntrail, yes? Your village's artifact is not indiscriminating in its wrath. Some among my followers harbored wicked intentions and it brought sorrow upon my enemies. The true of the heart, caught in the aftermath, were merely unfortunate. But they believed in you, even though you tricked them. What kind of hero are you? You too would oppose me? I had thought that as fellow saviors we might find some common ground, yet it appears we are destined to walk different paths. Now, faced with unknown peril, a great fervor rages within me. However, here is not where we shall match wits. No, a more fitting battleground is in order. We will meet again soon. You have my word. Shut up! Ah! You actually hit him with that. Well, at least he didn't get the last word. So, can you tell us what happened here? He gathered us all around and made a grand speech. Claimed he was the hero that would drive back the flood of fiends threatening Thavne. Then he spoke of his anger at the recent rumours. He told us to go forth and repair his damaged reputation so that the people would love him again. He became quite impassioned, in fact. As for us two, we were here to teach him a lesson, biding our time until his back was turned. But we couldn't stomach his self-righteous drivel any longer. He acts like he's God come to grace Thavne, but most people have grown wise to his tricks, including the Radiant Host. We stepped forward and told him as much, then demanded he admit he's been pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. That's when he started waving that thing around. We soon learned that the rumours of its power were true, and rocks started falling down around us. Even us true believers were not spared. There was nowhere to run. The Justicia said such power cannot be fettered and sacrifices are unavoidable, and all the while he was laughing. We pleaded with him for mercy, but that just made him angrier. He flourished the object over again, and yet more rocks assailed us. It was horrible. Stones big and small raining down endlessly, until you two appeared, that is. Thank you for telling us what happened. I only wish we could have arrived sooner. Now, just to set things straight, it was you two that brandished your weapons first, yes? Well, I won't deny that, but we were only trying to bring truth of his misdeeds to light. Though we might have had some personal scores to settle on top of that. Before I left Palaka's stand, I asked the Radiant Host there to look out for anyone returning from the wilderness. I suggest you head there and seek the raid. While you're there, share with them what you told us. And as for the pair of you, don't even think about running away or you'll have us to deal with. Everyone has returned to the care of the Radiant Host. As for those ruffians who meant to attack Virazan, it seems they had a history of violence for which they may soon answer. Several among Virazan's followers were dealt serious wounds, but we can be grateful that none lost their lives. It's exactly as the old saying goes, the master of the Apex shall be showered with good fortune, yet leave only sorrow in their wake. The part about sorrow certainly seems true at least. We can but hope that Virazan's spell over the people will be broken at last when word of what transpired here becomes common knowledge. Let that buoy our spirits as we return to Yedlimad. Always Yedlimad. Well, that was certainly an ordeal. Although Virazan got away, we can look back upon what transpired to plan our next course of action. It appears that the treasure takes rocks from the surrounding environment and makes them rain down upon the wielder's surroundings. However, the power seems to be somewhat haphazard. While Virazan himself wasn't struck, the bolt assailed friend and foe alike. Something else has been nagging at me as well. The stones we saw in the canal seemed a bit larger than the others. I don't know what to make of it, but I will give it some thought. We still don't know exactly how Trail controls the Apex's abilities either. We must focus on these mysteries as we continue our investigation. As for Virazan himself, He was just as his father said, wasn't he? His so-called heroism is an empty charade, like a child playing at being a hero from the storybooks. He seems motivated by a vain desire to gain the love of the people, yet he cares nothing for their well-being. He'll learn his lesson soon enough, though. None will sing his praises after word of what happened at Uznir spreads. Even he must know this. I worry that his desperation will drive him to worse misdeeds. If the treasure is used with reckless abandon, it could cause untold harm. I must discuss this with the Radiant host. Together we might be able to capture Virazan before he attempts anything drastic. Stand by for now, Ray. I'll be in touch the moment I have something to share. In that case, we'll cut the stream now. Tomorrow, I'll stream the wrap-up for this. Maybe I'll be able to squeeze in the tank roll quest as well. We'll see what happens. But I know we are getting through all this. Anyhow, yeah, it was a pretty good stream. So until next time, guys, take care. I'll see you all around.